Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So what does food mean to you? This week's special guest is Brother Luck. He is, a professional chef. He's a contestant from Top Chef, and he's also a very successful restaurateur, and he has a new book out. So we will be chatting with him, and he's going to give us an interesting recipe, and I will also be sharing another excerpt from my new book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Diaries, Seasons. I'll be sharing also a recipe for a cool cappuccino. So stay with me. This is an excerpt from my new book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Diaries, Seasons, which is, I call it a culinary memoir. There's recipes, and it's really a diary or parts of excerpts from diaries that I wrote while I was living in Italy and creating The Basic Art of Italian Cooking book series. This excerpt is a September 23rd, and it's titled Gelato's Literary Past and a Cool Morning Cappuccino. Even gelato has a literary past. The first gelato is said to have been invented by a Sicilian, Francesco Procopio di Coltelli, who in 1685 went to Paris to open a coffee bar called Café Le Procope, where his version of gelato got so famous that he came to be called the father of gelato. Café Le Procope is believed to be the first coffee bar in Paris, a well-known haunt of the literati of its time, including Victor Hugo, Voltaire, and Balzac. Voltaire's desk remains on the second floor. While enjoying your gelato there, you can ponder some of the wisdom of these literary artists, probably thinking about some of the same things as you while creating their masterpieces at Café Le Procope. The last summer days of Rome are dwindling down into the fall. One still needs to find clever and delicious ways to stay cool and enjoy the taste of summer, moving into autumn. One cool find I've been enjoying at some local coffee bars is a cappuccino with gelato and a mini cornetto or croissant. With guests at my pied-à-terre in the city, I decided to wake everyone up with a sweet breakfast at home. This morning, the sun was shining over the Colosseum, and after a quick trip around the apartment to open up the shutters and take in the Roman sunshine, breakfast was served up on the terrazzo with a picturesque view of the Colosseum. Here's the recipe for a cool cappuccino. 4 cappuccino cups, 4 scoops of chocolate gelato, 4 scoops of vanilla gelato, whipped cream. To make it fresh, use 1 cup of fresh whipping cream, a cinnamon stick, 4 mini croissant, brioche, or cornetti. Whip the fresh cream until the peaks form. Distribute the gelato into 4 large cappuccino cups. Pour the cappuccino on top of the gelato and top with fresh whipped cream. Add a pinch of cinnamon and top with a mini croissant, brioche, or cornetti. What a way to wake up. So today, my special guest is Chef Brother Luck, and he has an interesting background. He also has a new book that he's just released that he's going to tell us about also. So, Chef, welcome and thank you for being here, first of all.
Yeah, of course. I'm honored, and any chance we get to share our story, I think it's extremely important.
Yes. So I know you have an interesting background and story, and how you also how you got into being a chef. So I thought it would be really great for you to share that with my audience, letting us know about you and how you got into being a chef.
Yeah, I was a young teenager, and just kind of on the streets, not really having the right guidance, not being around the right people, and I got put into a vocational school. And I didn't want to become a chef until these grown men, these mentors, actually told me that I was good at cooking. I believed them.
Uh-huh.
And that's what actually pushed me to want to become a chef. So they got me into competitive cooking. That eventually turned into a $30,000 scholarship, and I began my career or my dream of becoming a chef.
Wow, all from that. And people don't realize like mentors are really, really important, especially in a student's life. Just that encouragement, right? Really, I think that sounds like that really pushed you over the top to keep pursuing it.
Yeah,
So that encouragement is so important. People, I think teachers and mentors don't realize how important your encouragement is to encourage students to pursue, a career in whatever they may have a talent in. So, how did you decide to? Is this your first book?
my first book. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Wow.
I think it's important to share your story. We all have a story, and a lot of us downplay our story because we don't feel like our story's good enough, or somebody else had it worse. But in reality, our story is not meant for us. Our story is meant to be shared for others to hear, to be inspired by, to find hope. And that's really what I was hoping to do with writing my memoir, No Luck's Given, was essentially share my story to just give someone encouragement through, persevering through a tough childhood, pursuing a dream, overcoming obstacles, battling mental health, and then achieving success and how to manage it.
Uh-huh. It's really important. I always say this, we're all unique beings and we all have our own story, and it's not a right or wrong story. It's just your own unique story. And I think that is just what you said. So important to share that, because a lot of your unique experiences, even though they may not be exactly the same as someone else, have some similarity. And he's agreeing with me. There you go. Your dog's agreeing with me, right? I have a dog too. She's not in my studio, but if she was, she'd be barking too. Um, anyway, I think it's really important we all benefit from others, from your experience. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar, and it can definitely encourage. And I think it even helps put people kind of over the top to where they need to get to. So, okay, so this is your first book. So do you have a restaurant, or do you do this on like as consulting as far as your career as a chef?
No, I own multiple restaurants here in Colorado. So
There
I
you
have one
go.
for my brother Luck. I have another restaurant called Lucky Dumpling. We have a private project called The Studio where we entertain. So
Wow.
we have some. Colorado's is definitely our home. That's where we love being. We are able to be a part of the community here in Southern Colorado, and yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Wow. So if people want to find one of your restaurants, they're located in Southern Colorado.
Yeah, so we're in Colorado Springs, which is about an hour south of Denver. You can always, check us out on chefbrotherluck.com. That gives you all the information of our restaurants, how to book us, where to visit us, and really see what we're about.
And is there any particular kind, like style of cooking that your restaurant specialize in, or a variety? Is it just a variety?
No, we have so our restaurant four is telling the story of the Four Corners. We do that through a four-course tasting experience with wine
Uh-huh.
pairing.
Hmm.
um, really get into the people of the Southwest. So, being here in the Four Corners, we have a lot of Native American, a lot of Hispanic, we have European cowboy and pioneer. So it's this unique blend of culture and history between elevation. So, you have the mountains and you have the desert. And
Right.
there's a lot of amazing stories behind that. Our restaurant Lucky Dumpling is inspired by my time working in Asia. It's a fusion of my Creole heritage, but also my love of Asian cuisine. So we do dumplings infused with things like dirty rice. So it's a really fun concept there. And then studios where we just kind of play. It's where I get to get into wine pairings and really tell the things of the stories that I love. I think being on shows like Top Chef, you have this ability to be a storyteller to a national audience, and having a private venue is a great ability.
Yes. Oh, that's great. I love it because food is so connected to culture, and I love it when restaurants connect the food to culture in some way. So it sounds like it's definitely more of an experience than just eating there. People can also kind of experience culture. So as far as your book, the book that you just released, tell us the title of that book.
Yeah, the book's called No Luck's Given. Life is hard, but there is hope.
Okay. And tell us, so is this it's a memoir, but does it include recipes also?
Now we're saving the recipes for the cookbook that's coming out. So we're
There you
working on
go.
the second book already, and we've got some amazing things happening there. But I think it's much more than just my love of food. This is a story that relates to people, and it touches on so many different subjects. I think there's a way to identify, because we ask the reader a lot of questions to really reflect and give us the what's your feeling, how are you doing. I want that engagement in that story.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's great. That's great. So it's almost can be kind of like an interactive type of book, right? Because it sounds like you're asking the reader questions and kind of getting them to reflect.
Exactly. I think when if a lot of my story is chasing validation,
Uh-huh.
and the moment I realized I was actually winning was the moment I could look in the mirror and validate myself. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't through a show. It wasn't going to be through awards or recognition. It wasn't going to be through my restaurants. It was going to be myself. And I think that question is something we all struggle with in a world of social media where we're comparing ourselves to the greatest hits of somebody's day.
Right. Exactly. And you shouldn't. You should be your own unique creation, right? Everybody is. So, exactly. So, do you have a style of cooking that is kind of your favorite? And is there a recipe you could share with us, like something simple?
Yeah, of course, of course. One of my favorite things to make right now, especially as we head into the fall season, is bacon jam. It's one of my recipes I've been making for a number of years. I like to add it to charcuterie boards. I like to put it on grilled cheese sandwiches. Sometimes I even use it as a component for a cheesecake.
Uh-huh.
But what we do is we caramelized onions. We cook that down with some rendered bacon. We hit it with a little bit of red wine, a little bit of molasses, a little bit of balsamic, some maple syrup. We cook all of that down with some brown sugar and black pepper until we get this gorgeous compote, and we reduce it until it's nice and thick and syrupy. Once it's chilled, it becomes just an amazing component with so much umami and balance of sweet and salty and spicy and bitter all in one. So it's a favorite of mine during this time of the year. um, I think I'm actually going to make a pumpkin soup as we get a little bit closer into the season, and I'm going to pair it with this bacon jam.
Just going to say that sounds like that would make an amazing combination. So there you go, and it's definitely simple enough to share. So you were on Top Chef. What season were you on so we can tell people to go find you? Find
Yeah, yeah. I was very fortunate to be on two seasons of Top Chef. So I was on season 15, which was based here in Colorado. I
Okay.
was back season 16, which was based in Kentucky. But yeah, also on Food Network, you can catch me being Bobby Flay, which is always a fun thing. A number of episodes of Chopped. It's amazing just the opportunities to compete on that level and be in the entertainment industry as well as the hospitality industry.
Exactly, exactly. That's great. So people can check you out then all over. I'm sure it's all over the internet also, Top Chef Chop, beating Bobby Flay. So what's next as far as so you said I guess your next cookbook, your next book is going to be a cookbook.
Yeah, yeah. We're working on an amazing food and wine experience cookbook that I love the story of how wine becomes the ultimate accoutrement to any dish. And I've been working with my sommelier in my restaurant for the last 16 years. So the journeys him and I have been on, the travels, the winemakers we've built relationships with, the dinners we've done, the pairings, the ideas, the thought process. That's going to be the next book that's coming out. So we're hoping to have that out by next year.
Wow,
But
that's interesting. Or I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to say, so did you concentrate mainly on wines made in the US or are they international wines also?
International. I think, we obviously here in this country have an amazing a variety of regions that we can get to play with, from California to Oregon to Washington. But even when you get up into the Finger Lakes, I mean, there's some amazing things up in New York.
There
And
is. Yes.
but I think as we get into food, food is the ultimate connection to any culture. And I think as we're exploring international wines, we're able to find these familiar stories in Italy and France and South America and Australia, that we all know, because wine is always something that's around the table when it comes to the dinner and the family.
Exactly. Oh, that sounds great. Well, we'll definitely be looking forward to that book. So, Brother Luck, tell us, where can we find your latest book?
Yeah, you can find me on Amazon. You can find me on Barnes and Nobles. You can also get it on our website, chefbrotherluck.com. And of course, follow me on all social media platforms at Chef Brother Luck, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. We're on all the above.
Great. All right. Well, thanks so much. And hopefully we'll be hearing from you in the future about your upcoming cookbook. Thanks so
Absolutely.
much for being here. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show, and thanks to my producer, Britton Roselle, and this week's special guest, Brother Luck. And as always, you can find me on my website at marialiberati.com and my blog at marialiberati.com, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/M Liberati, and on Twitter at Maria Liberati. And let's see, my Roku channel, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking by Maria Liberati, and my Maria Liberati channel on Vimeo and on YouTube. My latest book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Diaries, Seasons, has this week's recipe on page 71, and you can find the book on Amazon and Kindle and marialiberati.com, and really anywhere books are sold online. And I will be doing a special appearance and book signing and sampling at the Taste Philadelphia convention at the Valley Forge Casino and Resort on October 21st and 22nd. You can buy tickets. There will be chefs from the Food Network, and you'll be able to taste. There'll be lots of food, great food for tasting and sampling, and lots of restaurants and lots of different wines and liqueurs. It's just a really great event. So I will be there on October 21st and 22nd. And on October 2nd, I will be doing a book signing at the Maplewood South Orange Book Festival in South Orange, New Jersey. Hope to see you at those events. And again, as I always say, take a picture of the cool cappuccino recipe, hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, and share it on social media, and we'll share it also and put it on the website for the podcast, the marialiberattishow.com. Until next time, peace, love, and pasta.